What you're about to watch is from the most recent live stream. This is the actual math that I go through to find the CR numbers and compare it to what's printed. And with that intro out of the way, let's get right into the video. Alright, Vrock. What are we looking at? Well, first off, let's not use that. First off, let's take a look at its armor and hit points. So we have 15 for natural armor and 104 for its hit points, coming from 11d10 and 44. So we'll add that into my little machine here. And it's a large, so we'll switch to that. And we have 11 plus 18 Constitution, 13 Wisdom, and 8 Charisma. It's expected to be a CR6. And now let's take a look at the saves and such. So we have 3 saves, Dex, Wisdom, and Charisma, so that is going to be added in for save proficiencies. And we also have damage resistances of Cold Fire Lightning plus Bludgeoning, Piercing, and Slashing, so we're going to be adding that. And it has damage immunities to poison, but because it only has the one poison condition, we're going to ignore damage immunities. I stick to 3 or more for it to trigger that chart and the numbers there. So let's add in 3 to 4 saves. So we're going to get a +2 effective AC bonus, bumping it from 15 to 17. Then we're also going to add in resistances, which it's a CR6, should only be 1.5? Yes, 1.5 times the hit points. So we're getting half as much hit points because of the resistances, and it's going from 104 to 156. We skip all the rest of that because condition immunities don't matter, its senses don't matter, although my cousin would beg to differ with Tremor Sense, traumatic stories from past D&D campaigns in 3.5, and we go down to the only trait it has, which is magic resistance. So we're going to come down in here to the monster feats section and click on the little button for magic resistance, which is going to give it an additional +2 effective AC bonus. So not only has it moved from the AC originally at 15. Oh, darn it. Back up. I want the arrow. There we go. So we're going to go from our 15 to a 17. And then from the 17 to a 19, which we have here in the effective AC numbers, which was shifting it up to a DCR of 8 already. So hopefully this Vrock has low damage. Really hoping it has low damage because already we're seeing higher numbers. And for this to balance out to a 6, it's going to need to be an OCR of at least a 4, hopefully. Alright, let's clear this out and see what we have for our actions. Alright, the Vrock has multi-attack of 2 attacks, one with its beak and one with its talons. So the beak does 10 points of piercing damage, and the talons do an additional 10 points of slashing damage. Then we also have Spores, which has a 1 out of 6 chances to respawn or recharge. So we're only going to see that once, and if it doesn't do damage, I'm not going to count it in. So the spores spread around the corners. Each character in that area succeeds on a DC 14 con save or become poisoned. While poisoned in this way, a target takes 5 points of damage at the start of its turns. A target can repeat the saving throw. Alright, so this is potentially going to give in an extra 5 points of damage every round. Debatable if we use that or not, because it takes an action and could really hinder the 24 points of damage I'm already seeing from the multi-attack. So let's put this in here. We have our multi-attack damage of, well, we'll get that in a minute. We got the beak, which is going to do 10 points of damage even because it's 2d6. And then we have our talons. Yeah, Cornucopia said it feels weird. It feels so weird that the Vrock can send out spores. That is very odd. I'm guessing maybe it doesn't keep its wings very clean, and then as it's flapping, it just sends out all this toxic spores and whatnot that are growing in its wings because it has a 60-foot fly speed. That's the best I can suggest for that one. Alright, back to the Talon's damage of 14 even, because it's 2d10 plus the 3. Then the Spores, 1 time, because of the low recharge rate, will do let's see here. 15-foot radius cloud of toxic spores extend out from the Vrock. Okay. So we're expecting at least 2 to fail. And that's going to give us 5.5 damage because it's 1d10 and that's an odd number of d10s. So we'll have 5.5 times 2 giving us 11 points of damage. Now, it could be worth doing that because then it would be extra damage that's just going. And then it can move, the Vrock can move around and start attacking other players and spreading its spore disease, or the spores, or whatever you want to call it. So, off the top of my head, it might be worthwhile if we were to look at 2 different scenarios of damage here. And I have the Mezzoloth damage tracker, and I'm curious to see what would happen here. So I'm going to clear these out and just use the numbers to see what gives us the most amount of damage. The 24 straight off the board, which is just going to be 24 down the middle if it doesn't use its spores, or if we throw in the first round of doing the spores, which will be 11 points of damage, and then we're going to get extra each round because it's now active. Then and it doesn't end, or maybe it's the one time. All right, but we're going to suggest that even though it might just be the one time, these players can't get rid of the spore damage, so they're going to get the extra damage each turn. So we're going to add in the 24 for that. And we're looking at 3 points of extra damage. So, ironically enough, using the spore action and getting it out on the very beginning of combat is going to be the way to go. Even though it's only 3 extra damage, this could make or break an OCR. So let's take a look here and add in the 27 points of damage. And what are we using? Are we using saves or not? 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm thinking let's go with the +6 to hit for now. And then if things look odd, we will switch it to the DC 14. And there it is. Okay, we found, if we look over on our left side here, in the challenge ratings calculations, sure enough, we have our OCR 4. So, luckily, Cornucopia, you had a CR6 monster as you brought it to the table. There was nothing to worry about. It was a bit more of a tanky monster because of its magic resistance and resistance to melee weapons and whatnot. This is actually what I would probably classify this as a mage killer, but kind of like tanky mage killer because of its high DCR rating with that 8. Let's see here, the 8 here. Oh, why am I doing that? And then it's low damage here. So it's a balanced monster, as we see from the 6 right there. This is a good monster to use. Thankfully, we don't have to worry about that. And there you have it. That's how you break down and expose the monster's CR values. If you like what you've seen, hit the subscribe button down below and give the video a thumbs up. I post daily. And until next time, thanks for watching.